In today's lesson, we're going to learn two new ways to calculate the area of a triangle. So, first of all, I just want to remind you that the traditional way that we've been using to find the area of the triangle is this. Area equals base times height divided by 2. Now, you can still use this provided that you're given the appropriate information. So you need the base, so you need this length. If you know this value here for the base, that's good. And then you'd also need the height which is perpendicular from a vertex to the base. If you know that measurement, let's call that y, you know the height, the base, then you can find the area using the traditional formula. If you don't have all that information, then there are two other ways you could be solving for the area of a triangle. So for example, if we look at this triangle over here, you'll see we know all the sides of the triangle, but we don't know the height. Now you might try to find it. You might try drawing the height in here, which is 90 degrees. You might try using SOHCAHTOA to find it, although we don't have any angles. You could use the Pythagorean theorem to try to find the height. But the formula I'm going to show you today is much easier. So the first formula we're going to look at is called Hero's formula. And this is Hero's formula. Now I don't expect you to memorize this. This would be something to put on your memory aid. So the area is equal to the square root of P. P is written down here. P is the perimeter of the triangle divided by 2. So you would need to add up all the sides and then divide it by 2 to find your P. So our formula, Hero's formula, is that P times P minus A being one of these sides, any one, then P minus B, another one of the sides, and then P minus C. And we're multiplying all of these things together. In between the brackets, it's multiplication. So let's give it a try. We're going to determine the area of this triangle using Hero's formula. Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to find what is P. P is the perimeter of the triangle divided by 2. So we have to add up all these sides and divide it by 2. So 2.5 plus 3.5 plus 1.5, that's the perimeter, and then we divide it by 2. You should be able to put that all into your calculator in one step. If you wanted to do that, you might want to put some parentheses around the top. And then you should get 3.75. Please try that on your calculator to make sure you're getting the correct number. I'll pause the video here. Please try it on your calculator. Okay, once you've found P, now we're going to go ahead and find A. So the area is equal to the square root. Now we're referring to this formula up here. So we have P times, so my P is 3.75, times P minus A. So 3.75 P minus A. So I have to look back over to my triangle. It might be helpful to label the sides A, B, C. So A, B, C. In this case, it doesn't really matter which side you label A, B, or C. The point is to make sure you don't reuse the sides more than once. So 3.75 minus A, I've labeled A to be 2.5, brackets, and then 3.75 minus B, my B is 3.5, continue my square root sign, and then 3.75 minus C, which is 1.5. Okay, now we need to solve for all of this. You could do all this in your calculator in one step, but be very careful that you're putting this in correctly. You need to make sure you have the brackets in all the right places. You need to make sure you're finding the square root. So you might find it a little bit easier to simplify the brackets first and then solve it. So 3.75. And then the first bracket, we do the subtraction. We get 1.25. Close bracket. The next bracket, we get 0.25. And then the next bracket, the last bracket, we get 2 0.25. This you might find easier to put in your calculator. So give it a try. Square root, start by doing the square root, then 3.75 times 1.25 times 0.25 times 2.25, and then you have to close the bracket for your square root sign. Try it on your calculator, please. Pause the video, see what you get. So you should be getting on your calculator, you should give it approximately 1.62. And then all we need is our units. So it's going to be centimeters squared, since it's area squared units. Okay, so that's Hero's formula. We can use Hero's formula if we know all three sides of our triangle. Now, if we look at our next example, this triangle here, we don't have all three sides. But we do have two sides and an angle. So if you are given two sides and an angle, actually it has to be the contained angle, then you can use this formula here. Okay? So if we compare this formula to my triangle over here, well, side A is across from angle A, side B is across from angle B, and there's my angle. So those are my two sides and the angle that's contained inside those two sides. I can use this formula here then with this triangle. So let's give it a try. My area is one of the sides, doesn't really matter which one, because we're multiplying, order doesn't matter. So 3 times the other side, which is 4, times sine of the angle that's between the two. So that's 30, and that's all divided by 2. Put this in on your calculator, please. You should be able to put this in all in one step, but you can do it in 2 steps if you'd like. If you do it all in one step, again, you might want to make sure to put that in brackets. So 3 times 4 times sine 30 divided by 2. And should be getting 3 in our units, centimeters squared. Now we're going to look at 2 examples where I'd like you to practice using the 2 new formulas we just learned to find the area of a triangle. I'm going to get you started on each example, and then I'm going to ask you to finish them. So for our first example, we're going to calculate the area of the triangles if the side AC measures 15 centimeters and side B measures 12 centimeters, and the angle BAC is 34 degrees. The first step would probably be to label the triangle with the measurements. So side AC, that's here, that's 15 centimeters. Side AB up here, 12 centimeters. And then angle BAC, so that's my angle in here, is 34 degrees. Now we need to decide how we can find this area. We can't use the traditional formula. We don't know the height. We don't know the height here. We can't use Hero's formula because we don't know all the sides. Well, then we can use, though, the second formula I showed you, the trigonometric formula, because we have 2 sides and we have the angle that's between the 2 sides. So we can use that formula. So I'm going to start by writing down the formula. A times B times sine of C divided by 2. Now, we're not labeling the sides ABC necessarily, and now it's angle A, it's not angle C, but the point is that this is the angle between the 2 sides. So we should have both sides and the angle between them put in here. So I'd like you to finish this problem, fill in the formula, solve for it, come to class with this example complete, and then we'll look at the solution together. Pause the video here, please, to finish the problem. Okay, now we're going to look at the second example. Same thing, I'm going to get it started for you, and then I'm going to ask you to finish it on your own. So we need to find the area of this triangle. We need to first look at what's given to decide how we're going to solve it. Well, since we're given the 3 sides, we don't have any angles, but we know all 3 sides, we can use Hero's formula. So for Hero's formula, before we can use it, we need to find the P. So you're going to need to start by finding P. Remember, P is the perimeter divided by 2. And then after you've found P, then you can find the area using Hero's formula. So I'm going to let you finish this problem on your own as well. Come to class with both these examples complete, and then we'll correct them together.